Hello and welcome to a new episode of Barely Surviving Indev Plus. We are going to start this episode by visiting an ocean world. As you can see, I've got some stuff prepared for it. I've got some gear prepared, mainly emerald, some food, torches, some emerald armor, along with coolant helmets since those give me respiration, a furnace along with some coal. I think this should be enough for my first visit. So let's get into Ocean World. And now we are in. First thing that I need to do is get out of the house. I should be inside of a biosphere right now. Just need to be careful not to break the glass. I don't want the water to flood in. Seems like the biosphere that I'm in is really made out of stone and stuff. So I'm gonna try digging down instead. As you can see, I have reached the bottom of the biosphere, and for that I've switched out my stuff. The reason for that is because I want to get some corals, which I want to smelt into sponges, which I believe will be useful in this world. So let's quickly get the coral. And start smelting it. And there we go. We got some corals. So I'm gonna use these and some sponges. So I'm gonna use these sponges to get some more coral smelted and then move on. So as you can see, I have managed to get over a stack of sponges. While getting the coral, I've realized that the preferred tool for a coral is an axe. Anyway, just wanted to tell you, now it is time to have some fish and some jellyfish so that I can get the jellyfish tentacles and fish fins so that I can make the amulet. First, use our first victim. Since I need multiple hits with a golden sword to kill the jellyfish. Seems there is a fish. I'm gonna try to hunt it. But first I need to regain some air. It seems that I got some drops, but they are going up, so I'm gonna help with them and try to grab them. Anyway, as you can see, I've managed to get the fish fin. However, what you saw, I wasn't being quite smart. It turns out I've made the world too big, which meant that I had to squint quite high and for the items, which also meant I had to drowned for quite a while, which wasn't very smart. So I'm going to try to be a bit smarter when going back down. I'm gonna try and use these biospheres to go down. The reason why I'm using them is because I can at least place some sponges, which means that I can regain some air. It seems that the biosphere that I'm above is largely empty. So I'm gonna try going around the sides a bit. Because if I went in, I would just take fall damage. Anyway, as you can see, I've created sort of column of air that goes up. Might be helpful while hunting jellyfish and fish. I think that when killing them next, I'm gonna try to kill them from above, so that when the items come up to me, And seems that I've gotten a jellyfish tentacle, but I once again need to go up. So I'm gonna try to use the column of air that I've created some time ago. Just gotta find it. Of course, this doesn't speed up the process, but at least I don't drown during it. And here is the jellyfish tentacle. Anyway, as you saw, all that effort gave me one jellyfish tentacle and one fish fin. I feel like this method of getting fish fins was kind of annoying, so I'm gonna try an alternative method, which is fishing. I should be able to get some fish fins from this, I'm pretty sure, and maybe jellyfish fins. Jellyfish tentacles. So I'll try it out for a bit, fish for a bit, and see what I get. And as you just saw, I have managed to catch another fish fin. So now it's time to craft an amulet. And now that I've got the materials, it is time to craft the amulet. The recipe is simple. Here we go. The reason why I've crafted it is because I want to visit the moon, and I need to use this amulet to breathe on a moon. So let's get right into a moon world. And here we are. The reason why I'm here is because I want to hunt some piranhas, which are exclusive to the moon worlds. And the reason why I want to kill them is because they drop the blood tears, which can be used to craft the blood barrels, which are used to summon the blood moon anytime I want. And which is exactly what I want to do, since I want to kill some giants, since I didn't have the chance in the last blood moon. So let's get into it. First I'm gonna try out how many hits with an emerald sword it takes to kill a Rana. 1, 2, and 3 seems to be the number, and I've also got a blood tier on my first try, since I got quite lucky. Anyway, I'm gonna try to kill some other ones. I think it should be enough to hit them 2 times with an emerald sword and then gold sword. That way I should get my drop rates boosted. As you can see, Ranas also fight back. Anyway, gonna try to kill some more and maybe some of these other mobs. Probably this is Beast Boy. I think he drops gunpowder. That is if I can get any to drop. And the other mobs also have some other drops that are from other mobs. Oh, seems like Steve has got drops gunpowder. I think Beast Boy maybe drops feathers. There we go, feather. Anyway, gonna hunt some Ranas now. Anyway, I think I've hunted enough Ranas. I managed to get 7 blood tiers, which is quite enough for now. So it's time to go back into my main world. However, before I go, there are 3 things that I would like to tell you. Firstly, you might have noticed that the moon world has decreased gravity. This means that you can jump higher and also fall slower. Second thing is that if you remember the MD3 mobs, you might know that aside from Steve and Rana, there's also normal just Steve, who drops string when killed. There you go. You might have also noticed that all of these mobs are neutral, so they don't attack me unless I attack them. And the last thing is that this world has the day-night cycle. However, the moon in here is replaced by Earth, since we are on the moon. Anyway, that's everything that I wanted to say. Now it's time to return to my main world. So I'm now back in my main world, and I could use the blood tiers to craft the blood pearl right now. However, I don't want to. Reason is because to craft the blood pearl I need some glow dust made from the Gloshrooms, which I can make of course right now. However, before I do that, I would like to be able to farm the Gloshrooms in my main world. However, for me to be able to do that, I need to get some mycelium, which I've decided to get using a golden shovel from a Shroomland world. So let's visit one right now. And here we are. As you can see, I'm immediately being attacked. And I've also got some enemies in the distance, which are kind of variants of zombies who can shoot me with their blowguns. However, we are not here to explore the human world yet. I'm just here to get some mycelium. Anyway, don't worry, I'm going to visit this world again soon. I just don't want to explore it right now. And the place where I want to put the mycelium is right here. You can see that I've replaced the sand with dirt so that I can have the mycelium here. You might also remember that from the last episode that the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to divide this world into parts, and this part is where I'll be finding my mushrooms and flowers, and for that reason I want to place some mycelium in here, and also let that grass grow, so that way I've got so that one part of this dirt it turns into mycelium and the other part into grass. I think that will be cool. I'm just gonna place in the mycelium, then replace this sand with dirt so that this grass can grow, and then I'm gonna watch as the grass and mycelium spreads. Anyway, as you can see, things have almost finished growing, although it seems that my plan won't work, since, as you saw, the mycelium has taken over. The mycelium is taking over the grass, which means my plan of having this part be made out of grass and mycelium is a bust. Anyway, before I move on, there are two things that I would like to do. Firstly, it is to mention something that I forgot, which is that one of the reasons why I wanted to have this mycelium is to do a bit of an experiment. As you see, mushrooms spawn in the shroomland biome, shroomland world, on mycelium, so I wanted to see if they would spawn in a paradise world if I had this mycelium. So far they haven't spawned yet, but I'll try waiting a bit more to see if they spawn. And a second thing that I want to try out has to do with flowers. I want to see if they can grow on mycelium, because as I said, I want this part so that I can farm flowers, the big flowers which I haven't mentioned, and also the big mushrooms. So let's do a quick test. And it seems that I can't place the flowers on my mycelium, but oh well, that's fine. I don't really need to farm flowers all that much. But that isn't the important thing right now. The important thing is getting more gloshrooms, which I can get by just fertilizing a gloshroom. I believe that I can also get more mushrooms by fertilizing mycelium, like this. But I feel like the big mushroom method is better. And now that I've got all these gloshrooms, I just need to take them, turn them into glow dust, and make a whole bunch of blood doors using them, which don't lag apparently. And I'm going to use it in a world which has its season locked to winter, since the nights are the longest during winter, which means I'll be able to use the blood pearls the most efficiently. However, for that, of course, I need to wait for it to be day first, and I'm also going to prepare some other gear for myself, since I want to have some better gear while fighting the giants. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll start recording again when it's night and I'm prepared. There we go. Got a blood moon. So now it's just time to wait for some giants to spawn. Hopefully they actually spawn this time. And there's a giant in the distance. And there's another. That's good. Anyway, I was finally able to deal with the mobs somewhat, so now it's time to try and kill the giant, which is trapped in ice. So I'm just gonna try how many hits it takes to kill it with a sword. At least roughly, since it got hit with the mighty starter. Anyway, seems like the number of hits is 25. So I'm gonna try to kill the other giants as well. Just gotta deal with the mobs first. Now just finished with the golden sword. There we go. Now I'm just gonna quickly make myself another sword and find some more giants hopefully. And there are some more. Anyway, that seems to be it for the blood moon. Unfortunately, I spent most of it fighting other mobs aside from giants. Guess that's a punishment for me for creating a winter world instead of waiting for winter, or just using the blood pearl in my starter world. Anyway, now that there aren't any of the hostile mobs, I'm gonna check, see if there aren't other giants that have spawned. And there is one. And there we go. Managed to get 19 admin ingots in the end. I don't think there will be any other giants. Anyway, as you saw, the giants are quite competitors, so you gotta be careful not to get hit by them. So the blood moon might be over, and it might be day. Over there are still, it's getting dark, but there are still a few things that I would like to do. First thing is to get some berry bushes, which you can get by fertilizing grass during winter. And the second thing that I want to do is to mine some ice, which I can then use to get some water in the Hell Dimension. That's unlocking an achievement. Anyway, I believe that is enough adventuring for one episode. Now I'd like to do some building, and I'm going to start by working on the farms that I'll have in this world. And for that I first need to cut down these trees to make space for them. And the way that I would like to do these farms is based on importance. As you see, there are 4 things that I would like to grow in this area, those being wheat, melons, pumpkins, and berry bushes. And of course, I shouldn't have broken defense here. Anyway, and the thing is that these things aren't equally important, at least to me. For example, I feel like wheat is the most important one, and berry bushes are probably the least important ones. So I'm thinking of dedicating the most space to wheat, less space to pumpkins, less space to melons, and the least space to the berry bushes. First thing that I need to do for it is to create a large fence so that the animals don't get in and don't trample my farmland. But first of all, I'm going to harvest these so that they don't get trampled and they don't get in my way as I'm working on it. As I was tilling the soil for the farm, I've come to realize that it is perhaps too big to be finished at once. So instead I decided to only till a part of it and sort of separate it from the rest of the farm that is yet tilled. And now that I'm done with that, I'm gonna plant the seeds that I have, wait for them to grow, and harvest it, and that way I should have enough seeds to fill in the rest of the farm, which I'm gonna finish another time, since I've already used up more than a diamond hoe on this. And Here is how much of the farm I was able to fill in. It's several stacks, but doesn't really feel that much since the farm is so big. Anyway, that's that for now. I'm gonna move on to other things, but first I'm gonna get the wool from these sheep. As you can see, I went ahead and planted some melons and pumpkins here. That way I can grow them here until I have more wheat seeds so that I can fill in more of the farm with wheat. Anyway, that will be it for this episode. I would like to talk about two things. Firstly, in the next episode, I plan to visit the human world, create a floating world, and also do some building. That's what I'm currently thinking of doing. And the second thing that I would like to talk about is the fact that a new update was somewhat recently released, as I'm recording it right now, and that update introduces the portals, which change how you travel between worlds in Indev Plus. However, I have decided not to update to that update because that update quite fundamentally changes how you play Indev Plus. So instead, I will be doing another playthrough in the future, since it's quite a big change. So I feel like it would be better to play with it from the start instead of just updating midway. Of course, I could still continue playing the way I do right now in that update, but I feel like it would be just better to stay in the current update that I am in. Anyway, that's everything that I wanted to say. I'll see you in the next video.